Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to my elder apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Becharim, the house of David, that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation of Yasharallah. So I want to go into the Assyrian captivity, all right, which was the downfall for the Israelites of the northern kingdom that took place around 724 BC and a few years prior. All right. So we'll get into that. But first, let's establish who were the Assyrians. All right. Who were the Assyrians? So first, let's do this. Let's go on Google. Assyrian Empire. And let's read a little bit of this. All right. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay, it says Akkadian. It says Assyria, also at times called the Assyrian Empire, was a Mesopotamian kingdom and an empire of the ancient Near East. All right, over there in the Middle East. Okay, which today will be known as Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey. You know, because that's how much they expanded. Okay, as you can see on this map. All right, right here, where my arrow is at. Okay, as far as Turkey as well, you know, it says that existed as a state from perhaps as early as the 25th century BC in the form of the Assur city-state until its collapse between 612 BC and 609 BC, right? Which it was engulfed by the Babylonians, all right, thereby spanning the periods of the early to middle Bronze Age through to the late Iron Age, right? That's what they call it, the Neo-Babylonian Empire or Neo-Assyrian Babylonian Empire, all right, because it was engulfed by the Babylonians as well. This vast span of time is divided into the early period, 2500 to 2025 BC, Old Assyrian Empire, 2025 to 1378, Middle Assyrian Empire to 1392 to 934 BC, and Neo-Assyrian Empire to 911 to 609 BC. That's when the Babylonians came in. A Semitic speaking realm, really Shem, because they come out of the line of Shem, you see. So we're gonna get into who were they, all right? So we know they come from the line out of the line of Shem, all right? And take note, you know, notice this word Assur. We'll get into that in a minute too. Okay. There's little raindrops dropping, so hopefully this doesn't disturb the lesson. All right. If it does, then I'll have to come back. Okay, I can just pause it and come back. All right, don't want to get the laptop wet, but let's continue. A Shemitic speaking realm, Assyria was centered on the Tigris River in Upper Mesopotamia, a region which covered in modern times northern Iraq, northeast Syria, and southeast Turkey, with fringe areas of northwest Iran. After its fall, Assyria remained a geopolitical entity under the control of various empires until the mid-7th century AD. The name Assyria originates with the Assyrian state original capital, the ancient city of Assur. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, we can stop right there. So now let's get the scriptures. Okay. All right. So now let's get Genesis, the 10th chapter. Boy, I hope this rain doesn't come in all of a sudden. But you know what? I might have to pause and change my location. So bear with me for 1 second. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so I'm back once again. So now let's get Genesis, the 10th chapter. All right, because now we're gonna establish, first we establish the Syrian Empire. All right, now who do they go back to? What forefather? Because all the children of the earth, all the nations, go back to one forefather. All right, either out of Shem, Japhet, or Ham. All right. So now let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. Okay. Genesis 10, verse 21. The sons of Shem. That's how it's titled. Unto Shem, also the father of all the children of Eber. Right. All the children of Eber are the Hebrews, which Eber means beyond. And notice how it said a Semitic speaking realm, really Shemitic or Shem, because that's who they come out of. And remember the name, remember this name right here, Asur. Okay. Let me go back to picture I had. All right. So it says, the brother of Japhet, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, and here and it's about to name them. Here they are: Elam, which are the East Indians, and Ashur. You see, that's where the Assyrians go back to. And our Faxad, who we go back to, that's one of our forefathers, and Lud and Aram. Now, if we jump to verse 6, the sons of Ham, all right, it says, and the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, which are the Egyptians, and Phut and Canaan, and the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah, and Sabta and Ra'amah, and Sabteka, and the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and the land of Shinar. You see, in that Mesopotamian region, all right, in the Middle East today. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth and Kala, all right, and Rezin between Nineveh and Kala, the same is a great city. Right. Those are mighty cities. And Nineveh is spoken in the scriptures. Okay. Actually, let's get Nahum, all right, the 3rd chapter. Just to prove that. Okay. Because Assur was their capital, and Nineveh was also a major city for the Assyrian Empire. All right. Now this is Nahum chapter 3. And this is the title of it, because Nahum really goes into the book of Nahum, really goes into Nineveh. All right. Remember, Jonah was to prophesy against that place, then they repented. It's also mentioned in the book of Tobit as well. So it's called the miserable ruin of Nineveh, right? And we're not going to read this chapter, but let me get one scripture, all right, just to prove how the Assyrian Empire, all right, is linked to one of their cities was Nineveh, and that's linked to the scriptures. Okay, it goes all the way back to Assur, and he built Nineveh. All right, that was one of the first major cities he built. Okay, it says, "Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria." Nahum 3 verse 18. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains. No man gathereth them. Okay, and the Assyrian Empire did fall. I remember it was engulfed by the Babylonians. All right, and the Babylon Empire became great, starting with Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, so right, so right, Nineveh was in my notes. It says Nineveh was an ancient Assyrian city of Upper Mesopotamia, located on the outskirts of Mosul in modern-day northern Iraq. It is located on the eastern bank of the Tigris River and was a capital and largest city of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. as well as the largest city in the world for several decades. Okay, so we established that who are the Assyrians and what man, what forefather did they go back to? So now we know. All right, a sword. So now let's get into the essence of the lesson is the Assyrian captivity and how the northern kingdom fell. The children of Israel, of the northern tribes, they went into captivity. All right, because they went totally off. All right, worshiping other gods, um, practicing the customs of the heathens. Okay, just being totally wicked, and the Lord punished them because that's how the Lord punishes us by the heathens. They're our whooping stick. All right, that's how the Heavenly Father punishes us is by putting us in captivity. You see, actually, let me prove that. And real quick, Baruch. Let's get the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 6. It says, "You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yoshai to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked them that made you by sacrifice unto devils, and not to the Most High. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you." You see? So uh, that's how the Lord punishes us by captivity. Okay? Verse 10, let me skip down. "For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting, the Most High Yahweh brought upon them." You see? But now this is our last captivity, all right? And this captivity, Babylon, that we're in, this is likened unto all the captivities back then. Ancient, the Syrian captivity, the Babylonian, the Medo-Persian, the Greek, the Roman Empire. Really, technically, the Roman Empire revived all over again. But all the things that this place worships goes back to those ancient nations, those ancient empires. Even architect, you can see it. A lot of it goes back to Babylon, ancient Assyria. You see, but this is our last captivity. The Lord's going to deliver us, starting with the elect first. Though 2/3 of our people will die. Okay, so let's get Second Kings. All right, Second Kings, the 17th chapter, verse 1. It's First Kings, Slocky. Because remember, there was a split. All right, it started with Jeroboam and Rehoboam. All right, you see, and Jeroboam was the king of the northern kingdom, Ephraimite, who you call today a Puerto Rican. All right, and the last king of the northern kingdom was the Ephraimite king, King Hosea. You see, so this is Jeremiah, Second Kings 17, verse 1, and it's called the title says, "During Hosea's evil reign, Israel is conquered and exiled." All right, you see, so we were conquered by who? The Assyrians, and we were exiled out of that land. All right, which we're going to get into. It says, "In the 12th year of Haz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents." All right. It says, so we were tributaries, all right, under King Shalmaneser. All right. Now, doing research, all right, doing research, you see the northern kingdom tribes of Gad, Reuben, half tribe of Manasseh, particularly, were actually taken into exile first. Okay, before King Shalmaneser, it was actually his father, which I can prove with scriptures. All right, we'll get, and I find it very interesting. All right, and I'll expound on that. Okay, So this is First Chronicles chapter 5, which goes into Gad's descendants. Verse 26, it says, "And the God of Israel, Yahweh, stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Tilgath-Pileser, king of Assyria. And he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto Halah, and Habor, and Hara, and the river goes on unto this day." All right, so let me pull up a map. Okay, just show that. You see, um, I'll type in Gozan River, but Tilgath was Shalmaneser's father. So the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh were actually taken first prior to Shalmaneser taking away all of the northern kingdom, all right, which I found pretty interesting, and it's actually strategic. You see, you take away the warrior tribes, all right, and it's easier to go in and conquer, you see, which all Israel's warriors, but, Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh are the top warriors, you see. So hopefully this can load. All right, you see. So captivities of Judah, of Israel and Judah, shows Babylonia, uh, Media, Israelite settlements, but the Gozan River, okay, and then Halah. It says, remember, it says it says, and brought them unto Halah and Habor and Hara. It's the river goes on to this day. So we're about over here around this area. See, look, Nineveh as well. We're right next to Nineveh. All right, goes on the river right here. You see. So Hala was next to the Tigris River, goes on, was next to the Euphrates River, all right, which leads all the way out to the Persian Gulf. So, yeah. So let's go back to Second Kings, all right. So Second Kings, uh, Second Kings chapter 17, verse 4 now. And the king, so remember, we were tributaries, the northern kingdom, all right. King Hoshea was bringing presents to the king of Assyria every year, right? And it says, "And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. And the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years." All right. So he found conspiracy in Hoshea. You see, he has sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria. So the king of Shalmaneser felt some type of way. All right. You see, so he besieged the land. All right. That's where you can't come in, you can't go out. Okay. To get any food. All right. Um, Let me get that word real quick. Besiege. Definition. Right. It says of a place surrounded by armed forces aiming to capture it or force surrender. You see, that's the definition. Um, Surrounded a place with armed forces, lay siege, crowd around oppressively, surround and harass. Right. So they surround us by an army, and you can't go out to get food or anything. You're just in the gates of your city. All right. You're in the quarters. Okay. And they would harass us. All right. So now let's continue. Um, Verse 6, in the ninth year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel into Assyria and placed them in Halah and Habor by the river of Gozan in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their power, So it was really the Most High who did this, who brought this upon us. You see, the Lord put the spirit on Shalmaneser to find that conspiracy with King Hoshea because we went off. Everything is done by Yahweh Bashimashan, you see, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their power. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. You can see with the Northern Kingdom today, they do the same things, having the Guadalupe and Jesus Christ, that devil. All right, goes back to a man named Sergio Borgia. All right, do your research, okay? Our Lord. He looks like a so-called black man, a Negro. It's described in Revelation, the first chapter. He had bronze skin, all right, as put in the furnace, so he was very dark, melanated, with white woolly hair. Woolly is, that texture goes, that texture is only found amongst the Negroes. All right, okay. You can look at an animal with woolly hair, like a sheep. So, who has that texture is Negroes. You see, and his name is Yahushai. But they have the images of Jesus Christ, Guadalupe, just all this bugged out false idols, false gods. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen, whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord has said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. You see? So, we the Northern Kingdom was sinning against the Lord. All right, you see, they were off, worshiping false gods, and the Lord took them down. And then 200 years later, He took down the Southern Kingdom. They went to the Babylonian captivity. All right, you see. So now let's skip to verse 24. All right, because there's a point I want to make. All right, verse 24, and the title says, "The foreign nations are transplanted in Samaria and make a mixture of religions." So after, King Shalmaneser took us down, let's go back to this picture. After he, besieged the land and took us out, exiled us, you see, he brought in the heathen to fill in those cities and those quarters of the cities, okay? So it says, verse 24 now, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutha and from Ava and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. Right. All right. And let's get John, the fourth chapter, because this goes into the woman at the well. You see, she was a heathen. All right, she was a heathen actually. She was one of those descendants. She was those one of those heathens that descendants were placed in that land. All right, during that time, around 724, 726 BC. All right, and stayed in that land. You see. So John, the fourth chapter, and I'll start at verse 1. All right. So it says, Yahushai talks with a Samaritan woman. Okay. It says, when therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yahushai made and baptized more disciples than John, though Yahushai himself baptized not, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee, which is over there in all right, the Northern Kingdom. Okay, let me get a map. All right, I love geography. Okay, and it's best to see where these cities are. All right, so it can give you an idea. All right, so let's look at Galilee. Okay, all right, right. Galilee in the time of Yahushua. Okay, around this region. Okay, okay. So you went to Galilee. So he had to flee Judea, go to Galilee. All right, and he must needs go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar. Okay, I wonder if that shows on the map. I guess not. Okay, but let's continue. And it says, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Yahushua, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the sixth hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Then Yahushua said unto her, give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Yahushua answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of the Most High, and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldst have asked of me, and he would have given thee living water. All right. See, the Lord was speaking over her head. Okay. It says, the woman said to him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle? Now she said her father Jacob, but you see, that's because her descendants were there in that land. They actually believed that they were the Israelites, just like today. You got the so-called Jews that believe that they're the Israelites, okay? But they're really Amalekites, Edomites, okay? And we're gonna get back into the lesson. I just want to break this down, you see, because it coincides on how the Assyrian king brought in the heathens, and they took over those cities. All right, they filled in those gaps. You see, and people always say that this woman was an Israelite when no, she was a heathen. All right, so just make this quick point, okay? Because the Northern Kingdom was already in the Americas. All right, in the land of Asareth. So let's continue. It says, Yahushua answered and said to her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. And this is the word, this knowledge, all right, this truth. The woman said unto him, sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. See, she was being simple, she didn't understand, and she was a heathen. Yahushua said unto her, go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, thou hast well said, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands. See? and, and the Lord, has a sense of humor, but he'll speak the truth, all right? The Lord knew all things, man. He was just messing with her, but he was, telling the truth, all right? It says, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, and that saidst thou truly. The woman said to him, sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain. And ye say that in Jerusalem is this the place where men ought to worship? Yahushua said unto her, woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Right, because, all right, you know, the inhabitants of Israel, fled, all right, the real Israelites and the heathens out of that land, especially after 70 AD. You see, okay, you know, it says, uh, ye worship says, ye worship, ye know not what? We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. You see? Again, she was a heathen. He said, we know. Yahushua was telling her that you don't know what you worship because Yahweh Bashim Ashai is for his people, not for the heathens. All right? So I just want to make that quick point, all right? Because, that chapter where, again, Second Kings, how, King Shalmaneser brought in the heathens, it coincides with this one, all right? So, let me see. Actually, let me keep reading. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. That's right. And that's with Israel. Okay, starting with the elect first and foremost. Okay, so now, excuse me, let's get Second Esdras. Uh, Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. All right. See how much time there is on this. Okay. Second Esdras chapter 13, verse I'll get to the point. Verse 40. It says, those are the 10 actually I'll start at verse 39. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto fire. Whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. Slakia. It says, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, right, the last king of the northern kingdom, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, right, carried us over the waters, you see. And where was that? Uh, if you get a map, let's see, type it in. Talking about the right, talking about the Jordan River. Okay, so the Assyrians came in, King Shalmaneser. All right, get a map. You see, carried us over the waters. All right, this will be the northern kingdom over here. You know, the Jordan River. All right, so he carried us over the waters. All right, and there was other rivers as well. All right, as we got, you see. Let me see. Bear me for 1 second. Type in the Golden River again. Yeah. Okay. So carrying us over the waters. All right. You see, because if you go up here more, actually, I'm gonna get a better map. All right. The land of Israel right here. Okay. Northern Kingdom around this region. So carrying us over the waters. You see, over these rivers as well. All right. The Habor. Okay, right here. I believe this is the me see. I believe this is the Euphrates, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But as you can see, the rivers as well right here. You see, and this is the land of Assyria. He took us into these lands. All right. So crossing, certain rivers, all right, like the Jordan you have right here. I believe that's the Euphrates. Uh-huh. All right. Let me see. Let me find another one. All right, Tigris, right, Euphrates right here. You see, so carrying us over the waters. All right. Right, that was the Euphrates. Okay. So taking us over certain rivers into the land of Assyria. And it says, and so came they into another land, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country which never mankind dwelt. Right. And when it says they took counsel, now it doesn't exactly say, all right, but you can just let's see, what's the word I'm trying to find. All right, you can just if you just visualize yourself in that time, all right, using common sense. Pretty much they had to fight their way out of there. They just didn't go to the Assyrian king and say, let us go, or we're gonna get on this boat and leave. No, they either had to leave, in a tactical way, escape, all right, or fight their way out, And you have the whole northern tribes, you see. So it says that they might keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land, and they enter into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. You see, they enter Euphrates around this area, because a lot of them were set over around this area. You see, Israelite settlements. So they took the Euphrates. All right, let me find another one. Here you go. They took the Euphrates. All right, zoom in. Okay, all the way going down to the Persian Gulf. All right, and let's look at a world map. Let's look at a world map now. So let's go to this one. All right. So again, right here, this will be the Euphrates coming out of Iraq. All right. I mean, this would be the Persian Gulf. So like it coming. This would be the Persian Gulf right by Iraq. The Euphrates and the Tigris River are right over here. So they took the Euphrates. They came out the Persian Gulf. All right, and they went all the way down to the Horn of South Africa, or past the Horn of South Africa. Okay, and it says, and they enter into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High then shewed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. You see, so the Lord held, the waves, the crazy waves. All right, because when you're out on sea, all right, you have huge waves. All right, sea storms. All right, you see, but the Lord held all that still, so we can get to the Americas. All right, to South America, going all the way to North America, where you have Gad. You know, okay. It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And what can take that? All right, what that shows you that they had to travel to the Americas. You see, to get on a boat and to travel and go to a place that no man has ever been. No man has never dwelt. All right, and it took them a year and a half. That had to be the Americas. You see, now they knew of this place, And we'll get into that. Why? Because of King Solomon. All right, because King Solomon had a navy, and they will go get gold from the Americas, but no man dwelt there. That's why you have like the almanacs and all that. You see, so they'll go get gold, but they'll bring it right back. It says of a year and a half in the same region is called Asareth. Then dwelt they there unto the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. Okay, so yeah, that's talking about on the Americas. So again, we got taken into the Assyrian captivity, all right, and we fled out of that land, and we came to the Americas around 724 BC. Okay, it's all taken around that time era, around 724, uh, uh you know, 725, 724 BC. Okay, you see, you know, maybe a few years prior, because Gad, Reuben, and half tribe of Manasseh were taken first by King Tilgath-Pileser, so around like 727 BC. But as a whole, we came to the Americas around 724 BC. All right, so just to prove to you that we always knew of this land. Okay, just to get a quick scripture. All right, First Kings. So I can't remember for 1 second. First Kings. Chapter 9, verse, and the title is called Solomon's Workers. I'm going to start at verse 26, all right? It says, and King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion Geber, which is beside Eloth, and on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. Okay, let me see if I can find these on the map. Okay, we know that Edom is towards the south of Judah. Okay, Ezion. All right. Let's see. Let's show it. Okay. So, all right, Ezion Geber right here. Towards it said the Red Sea. So it's going towards this right by the Gulf of Aqaba, because you had two gulfs of the Red Sea. The Gulf of Suez, which the children of Israel um, you know, went through when, under the hand of Moses, all right, when Yahweh Shemashai freed us, delivered us under the hand of Moses. You see, I mean, using Moses to deliver us, all right. We came, and were delivered, all right, from under the hand of Pharaoh, all right. And Moses used his staff, okay, and departed the waters, but that was going towards the Gulf of Suez of the Red Sea. So it says, and King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion Geber, which is beside Eloth, on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. You see, this is the land of Edom. It's the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aqaba, particularly Ezion Geber. So you had a navy ships right over here. All right. And Hiram sent in the navy servants and shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, which the servants of Solomon. And they came to Ophir, now this is the land of America, and fetched from thence gold 420 talents, and brought it to King Solomon. All right. Just out of curiosity, I wonder what that says in the blue letter. All right. I might not say anything. Sometimes the blue letter gets it wrong, but just out of curiosity. So let's get Let's get this real quick. But you see, so the land of Ophir, all right, that's what it's called. That's the Americas. All right, the land of Asareth. Remember, if we go back to Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, it says for verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. And the same region is called Asareth, all right, or Arsareth, Arsareth, okay, which I forgot the meaning of that land. I mean, of that name. I forgot. Salakia. Okay, I forgot the meaning of that land. I don't want to, because it's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. So if any brother can put it in the comment board, you know, the water. All right. Let me go down to Ophir. Wait. Okay. Ophir reducing to ashes, a land or city in southern Arabia, and Solomon's trade route where gold evidently was traded for good. That's not true. So the blue letter got it wrong. All right. Oh, no, that was land of America. Because why else would King Solomon need a navy of ships if they're already near, in the Middle East? You see, no, they'll go to the land of the Americas and get that gold. His navy fleet. All right. A lot of them were Hamites. His servants. They'll get that gold. All right, and they'll come back. Okay. Um. Yeah, that's it. You keep okay. That's it. For the lesson. All right. I'm just thinking about that word Arsareth Salakia. Okay. Again, it's on the tip of my tongue of the meeting. If I find it, I'll put it in the description. All right, I'll do that. Okay, if I find it. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to my apostle elders who have taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Lord's elect. All right. So with that, a shalom.